We talk about the negatives, because they have 3 to 9 times the impact on thinking. When negatives are bouncing around in their heads, that's all that they are able to focus on. You can't plant a negative with a label. Denials plant the negatives. And this is what I wanted to go back and talk to Ed about. There were several times, Ed, when you said, I don't want it to seem, I don't want it to appear,
Yeah.
I don't want it to sound. Those are all denying of the negatives, because you're taking the focus off of them, you're putting it back on you. I don't want is changing the dynamics in the conversation. It's changing it from them to you. So the 2 millimeter shift that I was talking about, instead of I don't want it to sound, just say it's going to sound.
Got it.
Instead of saying I don't want you to think, say you're going to think. I don't want it to appear, it's going to appear. That makes it better.
Derek, it's interesting. I was thinking about other examples where I've been doing the accusation audits, and I've fallen into that habit of saying, I don't want, and I'll definitely make that correction.
It'll make all the difference in the world. The accusations audits, what are they thinking about you? What are they thinking about your client? What are they thinking about the conversation? What are they thinking about the circumstances? What are the negative opinions, assumptions, and impressions that they have about you? It doesn't matter if they make sense or not. I can tell you that if they're negative opinions, assumptions, or impressions, they're probably not going to make sense, because they're coming from an emotional place. That's where the negatives come from. And so if it's coming from an emotional place, it's probably not going to be founded in logic. So it doesn't matter if it's fair or unfair, crazy or not. If they were standing on a street corner hurling invectives about you, hurling invectives about who you represent in the circumstance, what would you want to stand right next to them and deny? That should be your accusations audits list. Now, you guys hear the same types of reservations, hesitations, pushbacks, objections, no's all of the time. That is where you start with your accusations audits. What do you hear no to all of the time? What are people giving you pushback on all of the time? There's where you start your accusations audit. You want to clear their head. You want to take permission and authority away from them from using it against you during the course of the conversation. You want to do what Covey said so many years ago. Show them you're trying to understand before you want to be understood. That's going back to the sequencing that we talked about in the first coaching call. Tactical empathy first, your goal and objective last. And again, it's the fastest way to build trust. So